Welcome back to another episode of Live Arena Experiments. Today's theme, damage reduction. And not just like a little bit, we're talking about stacking so much mitigation that the meta nukers start looking harmless, right? Quick mechanics, damage reduction actually does stack. Same type reductions are multiplicative, not additive, and there are multiple ways to reduce damage, right? You can reduce enemy ignored defense through passives and gems. You can reduce AoE damage through passives and masteries. You can reduce incoming damage based on team conditions and buffs. And then when you layer all of those things together, things get a little bit ridiculous. Have you ever seen a fully buff Marius A3 into A2 combo and then barely tickle a squishy attack based nuker? Yeah, that's what today's comp is built to do. Um, so this is the damage mitigation squad that I came up with. So in the lead, we got Duchess, which is 25 reduction to enemy area of effect damage. Next, we got Pythion, 5% damage reduction per buff on your team, up to 25%. And then finally, we got Harima, reduces enemy ignore defense effects by 50%, right? Stack it all together, and then suddenly, speed teams are struggling to secure kills, bomb teams lose their punch, and Marius comps hit like a wet noodle. This team doesn't outspeed. This team, they just don't die, right? We go second, and then we win. So what we'll do is we'll just roll the clips first, and then we'll break down the builds. After that, we're diving into something interesting, a new discovery with the Mercurial set, probably a bug, and then we'll close it out with more live arena battles. So let's get into it, right? Um, that is for today. So first one, we're up against a bomb team. Against a bomb team, this squad does extremely well because we have all those shields, all those block debuffs, all those cleanses, and we have a plus 80 resistance aura, right? Um, so we ban the champion that gives them increased accuracy, which is Lady Mikage, and we are good to go. Um, Everything else is just secondary, right? So they're gonna go first. But what are they gonna do? Like he tries to strip first, okay. He didn't go for the bomb with that Commodus. For this rat, he goes for a bomb, turns into a sheep. Even if he didn't turn into a sheep, I got Firo on Pythion. Like there's nothing, and Pythion is gonna go before everybody else to cleanse, right? Yeah, there we go, cleansed, and now we have you know, block debuff. I even reapplied it again, right? Just in case, Arbiter kind of decrease our duration. So here the comment is there's nothing he can do. He can't do bombs because we got team white. He just A once, um, and then over here we get the Arbiter low. We do the A3 on the rat, on the cat, and then that gives us an extra turn, and then we do A1, right? Wipe the team. So fairly straightforward. Um, Second team, this is a team with fairly low, I want to say fairly low damage dealer. That is Hefrak. Now Hefrak does do some damage, like he's great into like speed teams, but versus tanky teams, he really struggles to deal damage, right? Especially against the Harima, who just hard counters Hefrak. Like Hefrak cannot crit on Harima because he's a demon, and Harima being the uh, her passive makes it that demons can't crit on her, right? So you're in like a not really a losing position at this point. So they're gonna try. They're gonna try to control us, but realistically, you go for the squishiest target, right? Stack up the increased defense, like Harima steals their defense. Not sure why we're, reviving Armans, because he already used all his skills. The Armans got nothing, just A1s. Try to sheep us. Okay, I guess the sheep did come back in time, but Wand of Submission, right? This is why you bring Wand of Submission in live arena battles. Okay, and the opponent leaves. Um, this one, a lot of damage dealers, and I really wanted to show what this team can do versus someone like a Marius. This is a 6-star crushing rend Marius, right? And yeah, so it's supposedly going to do a lot of damage. The bombs is going to do nothing. Here doesn't even have enough accuracy. We cleanse, we buff up, and this is the Marius, right? He's going to do the A3, increase accuracy, increase defense. And then look at what he does to our cat. Not even half. Because of all those mitigation, because all those shield, because of Harima passive. And that's Arnorn's like single target skill is supposed to do a lot of damage. It barely did half of Duchess HP. So the damage mitigation on this team is insane. We are not afraid of damage. Um, this skill, the Arnorn AoE, is supposed to do so much. Look at how 22k on Pythion. Like, it's supposed to wipe, like, do 300k on the more squishier speed teams, but this skill did 22k. It barely tickled us. And then now we just go through his stone skin. Um, and this Ancora is in a tough spot because she can only revive a single one, right? Um, chooses Marius. Okay. He's gonna go for the nuke again. Let's see how much damage. Bear doesn't even tickle Harima, right? Like our cat actually died, but the rest of them are completely fine. Um, yeah, this team is very, very, very tanky. Um, and Marius is one of the most common live arena nukers. So you just see like how this team does versus a very, very common nuker that is Marius. It hard counters Marius, right? And there's many reasons why it counters Marius. First of all, bolster counters Marius. Um, Volcardi hard counters Marius. Damage mitigation counters Marius. And also Harima passive hard counters Marius. So it's just, specifically, okay, Marius even comes back again. But at this point, his defense got stolen so much that he's just really weak. And then we get that win, right? So that's it. Let's get into the builds. First, we have Pythion. Now, Pythion, we got Stone Skin and Feral build, just to counter those bombs that you might encounter. Get the effective HP high, so high amount of HP, high amount of defense. HP is more important than defense. Get a good amount of speed. Now, he's a cleanser. You probably want him going first, just in case they do apply bombs to your team. He's got Feral, so he's not gonna get the bombs, and then he can cleanse everybody else, right? So good amount of speed, and then as high resistance as you can possibly get. This build here is at 840, because he only has 1-star blessing, right? If we get to 5-star, that's probably 900 plus right there. Okay, and then in terms of relic, I could have gone in with a resistance primary relic, but this is just another one that I had lying around. And this one actually offers more damage mitigation, right? Initial hit, they do less damage. Subsequent hit, less damage. So damage mitigation does stack. And having relic damage mitigation is great in this team as well. If not, then just go for any of those relics that have like a resistance primary. That also works, right? So yeah, this relic is great in this team as well. Blessing, Lightning Cage to protect your Stone Skin, and the Feral, like the Untouchable, right? The block debuffs. And then Masteries, just go for the Unshakable to get more resistance and maybe lasting gifts as well. And that's it. That's it for Pythion. The second one we have is Duchess. Now for Duchess, you don't have to go for a high resistance because your Pythion is already high resistance. So bolster and stone skin is what I went with for the Duchess, and bolster 30% HP, right? Shield for all allies. Now you notice I'm running like 5-star, bolster set and like rare sets because bolster is from Forge Pass, and as free to play player, you get very little material to craft. So my bolster is really limited, and just try your best. Just get as much HP as you can using whatever tools you have available, right? So I got 135k HP, 4k defense, one speed less I think than Python. Just make sure that Python goes first and the Duchess goes second, and then I don't have any resistance pretty much on Duchess. In terms of the relic, Volcardiac Heart, right? Volcardiac Heart also scales extremely well with HP. You're just putting shield on top of shield to counter these AoE damage dealers like Marius. They're gonna hurt themselves. They're gonna hit into the shield, and then you're doing a damage mitigation on top of all of that. So it's fantastic. Duchess, I have polymorph on her for some reason, and fearsome presence. I think I had a little bit of accuracy in the previous build, and with fearsome presence, you can actually increase the chance to polymorph someone, turn them into a sheep by 5%. One of the only masteries that can do that, right? That can increase the chance of sheep. And then finally, we have Harima. Harima is just a standard nuker build, stone skin and lethal. Lethal give you ignore defense, stone skin just to keep her alive. In terms of stats, you want to have a little bit of HP on Harima, not too squishy, and as high defense as possible, good amount of speed, crit capped, and crit damage as high as possible. Also want a little bit of accuracy on Harima as well. Just because you sometimes you might want to land that decreased attack or taunt, right? In terms of relic, want a submission on your nuker is great. It just keeps them from getting crowd control, right? Maybe like because you're doing like provokes or decreased attack, you don't want Harima to be polymorphed. So if they polymorph you, you have a chance to reflect it back, right? Have a 6-star polymorph on my Harima. And then in terms of masteries, very standard nuker. I think Helm Smasher is great, Retribution and Deterrence just for the counterattack chance. And then Cycle of Violence, right? Take that to reduce your cooldowns. That's it. That's all the pieces for the damage mitigation squad. So here is what's new. I think is new. Nobody's talking about this. About the Mercurial set. So apparently, if you have Mercurial and your champion does like a taunt, now you would think what's going to happen with the taunted target is they're going to attack you with their A1, and then however many hits, they're going to reduce your Mercurial stack. But what's happening in game is the taunted target. Did you see that? So let's watch that again. The taunted target by the Mercurial champion skip their turn. It's almost as if they're stunned or something. Look, not attacking. We still have 3 stacks of Mercurial after the taunt. That xenomorph that alien is supposed to attack us and decrease our total guard stacks, but he's not. He's just skipping his turn. I think this is a bug because logically it doesn't make any sense. Why would the taunted target not attack? Like that just makes no sense. It's as if they just skipped their turn. So what is going on here? Let's test that again. Exact same fight. We're gonna go into this this battle here, and we're gonna do the taunt. Okay, we landed on Xenomorph again. Okay, that guy counterattacks. Our Mercurial stack went down to 2 from 3, and then he skipped his turn again. So it's consistent. Something with the spaghetti code probably, but this one is very interesting, um, because like if you just think about it, why would the taunted target not attack you, right? I decided to test it some more in like the Doom Tower, and I've discovered another thing. So if you have a Mercurial champion who is taunting, and you don't taunt everybody, like over here, oh, okay, it didn't work. Let's do it again. If you don't taunt everybody, you only taunt some targets, right? The other ones are free to attack you and get rid of your total guard stack. At this point, he has a 0 total guard stack, and that taunted target now is going to attack us. He's not going to skip his turn. So if you at least have one total guard stack, the taunted target is going to skip his turn and not do anything. But if you have multiple stacks, at least one, then they're not going to. They're just gonna skip their turn and not do anything. So that's the testing done on Mercurial, right? Over here, let's get into more fights. This one here, they got the best bombers and Embrace, right? Between the two, just want to test Embrace, see like does Embrace do enough damage to this mitigation team. Um, uh, these debuffs are not gonna do anything. Uh, and then we still have Stone Skin, so he tried to strip that, hit Lightning Cage, I think, and then it's our turn, right? We're very very healthy at this point, still stacked with our shields, doesn't break, right? Over here, four nuker composition, do not recommend it. I've talked about four nuker comps multiple times. I think it's just suboptimal. There's almost no situation why you want four nukers. Um, okay, he went for the strip, and then yeah, Harima is a counter to champions that relies on ignore defense in their kit, right? To be able to do damage. I'm talking about Rotos. I'm talking about Siegfried. Talking about Sun Wukong. So Harima is great into these champions. Now the Sun Wukong did steal our buffs and Stone Skin, which is very lucky. But regardless, oh, and that Predator is under Total Guard, which got one kill over there because they're about to take their turn. I don't want to revive just then with Pythion. I wanted to revive with Duchess, so everybody is veiled, right? Um, okay, we take out two, and over here Predator is gonna try to go for a block revive. We still got another nuker. It's not the end of the world. That's a mistake. You should have hit the cat there and try to kill the cat. Even though I had more revive, but I would still kill the cat first because that's the biggest threat, right? Um, yeah, against these kind of like double speed boost teams, this team is fantastic. We don't care about their speed, right? Like enemy can go first for all we care about. The damage mitigation squad is all about reducing damage. Um, and even if they go first, what are they gonna do? They're gonna hit like two shields and all those mitigation. It's not gonna do much, I think. Um, the Empress doesn't even try to strip Stone Skin, so now the Predator, there's nothing for him to do, because everybody's still under Stone Skin. Have to A1. I think the best thing to do was for Empress to do the strip of Stone Skin there. Okay, yeah, and then they're gonna revive, of course. Um, I am not gonna use that revive skill just yet. I'm gonna save it for Duchess to revive. Okay, now Predator is gonna do his thing, but then the cat still has his passive, Like earlier, the cat died to the reflect damage, which didn't proc his passive, is saved. So now when actual damage comes through, the passive is gonna kick in, and the block damage goes up to keep him alive, right? Um, that's why I brought the cat in as a secondary nuker, because very good at cleaning up, and also he's got ways to keep himself alive, right? Um, really strong A1, really strong A3. Um, this is just a great champion in general as a nuker. It does a lot. Next one, again, 3 revivers and Siegfried, who is half a reviver, half a damage dealer. Like Siegfried, Harima counters Siegfried, and then 3 revivers. We don't care, right? We don't care how fast they are, boosters, revivers, um, especially with debuffs like Pythion's just high resistance build. We're just gonna cleanse. We don't even care about Sifi, who has that irresistible sleep. Here, just Siegfried and Sifi left. Very important to not kill the Sifi. If you do kill her, you're gonna be in for like a lot longer battle. Um, so just yeah, look at that Siegfried's like big nuke. That is Siegfried's 14k, right? It hit through 60k, 68k of shield, and did 14k damage to a 130k, 140k HP Duchess. Like, he's never gonna be able to kill this team. This team just have too much damage mitigation and ignore defense reduction for him to do anything. So if you ever see this sort of team composition, you just draft a damage mitigation team into it. You're in like a almost unlosable position. At this point, what can they possibly do, right? Just make sure you wait the turn. Uh, do not hit Sifi at this situation. Hit the Siegfried, right? Um, we even got a decreased attack on him. Fantastic. And then now we can kill them. There we go. Yeah. So against these kind of speed teams where a single damage dealer that relies on ignore defense, we're great. We're great into them. Over here, against this newer Void Legendary Solaner. I don't exactly know how good he is at this point. Like, haven't faced enough of him to have a definitive answer, but I think he's pretty good. Just the passives on the skill where he's like ignore all debuffs and all those like counterattacks. It sounds pretty good, right? Um, Over here, we're just going to get rid of that Freya first, because Freya is going to protect somebody and give them instant turn. If we get rid of Freya first, that's not going to happen. So yeah, that's that's not Solinar's A1. A1 is an AoE skill. So he used one of his skills. I don't know which one. And it didn't break the shield of Duchess. Um, Damage mitigation, right? Damage mitigation. Uh, but yes, he has that passive where if you heal, he turns it into damage and then he heals himself. So because our team like Pythion has these heals, he's always gonna be full HP. Now the good news is that champion is not super tanky, right? So it's okay if he has full HP. I'm not too worried. Over here, oh, Aspect of Seroth. I was like, why did we do 0 damage to Solaner? He has Aspect of Seroth. He was almost at full HP, so that depleted his turn meter, and he took no damage. That's why. Okay, and then just one champion left. We go for the kill, and I think when he's the last one, he revives. Yeah, he revives, and he comes back with a Volcardiac shield. Um, Pretty neat. So you had to kill him multiple times. That A1 did well. Like, it killed the cat, but like, let's be honest, the cat is an attack-based champion, right? With like very low HP people. It did nothing to the rest of the team. Yeah. What 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 sort of damage? 662 against Harima, right? Um, Yeah. So I don't think once you're running this sort of like damage reduction, very little for them to do, right? Um, and then that's it. So yeah. And then I just included a couple fights that's somewhat interesting on the alt as well. This one here for nuclear composition, do not recommend, right? Here I have both Maria and Marius. Usually you see like a 6-star blessing nice. You're like, okay, we had to ban that. But both Maria and Maria's counters nice. So I left that in, right? And gave him some other champions just to see how well the 6-star blessing nice is built. So let's just take a look. Um, Over here, because we're faster, I'm gonna do the strip. I forgot I had the chrono cube on my Armans. Should have done the sheep first. Fish for extra turn, don't get it. Do the triple hit, kill the nice, right? And at this point, I mean, the monkey can still come back, but he will be locked out. So yeah, opponent leaves. Over here, another 4 nuclear composition. Like, I don't know why people are doing this. Um, for the really, really end game Krakens, where you have insane gear. Yes, I could see you running like 4 mythicals. I can see it. But most of the time, no, right? It's just suboptimal. Over here, we try to go for extra turn. We get 1, we get 2, and everybody's locked out at this point. Irresistible, right? And then there's nothing for him to do. Put a true fear, transform, and then HP swap, nuke. Easy as that. For nuclear composition, not a fan, right? Not a fan. And I think that's it. That's all of the battles for today. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, like we're probably gonna try to report that supposedly a bug to Plarium that has to do with Mercurial. Um, have you guys noticed that, is anybody else running damage mitigation comps? Leave a comment. Let us know how it's going for you in live arena. I know that in siege situations or tag, where you can expect the enemy team running a damage mitigation comp into these like high damage speed teams is just fantastic. You're in like almost unlosable position. Um, yeah, that's it for today's live arena experience. See you next time. Bye.